A real fast second channel video is live. This time it's a bit more serious than my other videos. It's about AI in political campaign ads. Go check it out if you want to hear me talk about something more serious than Magic the Gathering. YouTubers kind of suck. They have to constantly make titles and thumbnails that say contrarian things to bait people into clicking. It has a lot to do with the way YouTube works now. The subscription tab these days is not where people find videos. Nearly 85% of you watching this found it through the home screen or sidebar recommendations. The algorithm shows people videos, and you need to get them to click. This is why you don't really see Minecraft playthrough episode 358 nearly as often. Those videos were popular when the subscription feed was the main thing you got. But the environment videos are shown in has changed. So YouTubers needed to change how they used titles and thumbnails. Commander used to be a format where there was nothing designed with it in mind. Legendary creatures were just that, special creatures. They had weird, unique effects. The legendary word was often used as a way to prevent you from doubling up on certain effects. But after many years, this has changed. Wizards knows about the format and designs legendary creatures with the intent of putting them in the command zone, which means legendary creatures are different now. And if you want to see what commanders I'm using in person, you can at coolstuffcon Orlando. I will be there doing meet and greets, and I'll be playing in the Creator Clash section as well, where you can play against me and other content creators. You can also meet artists or check out vendors for free. Plus, my meet and greets will be in the free area as well, so anyone attending can check it out. But playing Commander versus the content creators or attending other events does require upgrading to some of the premium packages. If you want to play in a tournament, there are $60,000 of prizes up for grabs, like a 13K CDH event and a 25K Riftbound event. This event is Halloween weekend. It is October 30th to November 1st in Orlando, Florida. Links to all the information and where to buy tickets are in the description below. Hopefully I'll see you there, and if you're watching this video way after it's been uploaded, still click the link below. I might be at a different Cool Stuff Con event near you. So how have commanders changed? Well, let's compare some old legends to modern ones and see if we can find a few differences. Macaeus the Unhallowed is a classic commander card for the 99. It has a pretty unique effect. It's powerful, but only operates on one axis. This does effectively one thing, and that's about it. Compare this to Eshki, Teemer's Roar, which gives you card advantage, and it's a finisher, and she pumps herself to make the finisher even more powerful. This card requires no real synergy or specific cards or deck building to function. You have to play creatures that are big in a green deck, so it's a normal green deck. Today, there are still some commanders that do just one thing. I mean, we get hundreds of legendary creatures in some of these Universes Beyond sets. So of course there are some lower powered ones that just do one unique effect, or just an effect, I guess, and then that's it. Of course this will happen, right? We have so many legends getting printed. You get everything from a wall of text to a vanilla bear. But I am talking about commanders designed to be in the command zone. And I think a lot of the uncommon or common legendaries are not really meant to go in the command zone. I'm talking cards that are commanders which draw cards and put power on the board, or commanders that draw cards and burn your opponents, or commanders that draw cards and do, other things. A lot of this is just card draw plus other stuff. And sometimes they even do 3 or more things. They give you resources in so many different ways. For centuries, people have been using a linchpin as a fastener to hold a wheel or other part together. Over time, this linchpin has taken on a new meaning. The figurative linchpin is something that holds everything together, a crucial piece of something. In video games, you often will fight a giant monster or challenging boss, which cannot be damaged in normal ways. They instead have some sort of weak spot, a small chink in the armor, or a glowing red kick me button that you exploit to defeat them. The enemy seems unbeatable until you find the weak spot. Then it's suddenly trivial. With a bit of knowledge, any boss can be crushed easily. In many dystopian sci-fi films or books, there is often a technology which does everything for people, and they become reliant on that tech and forget how to do most things themselves. Then, when that technology is taken away from them, they have to relearn everything and are completely useless without it. Your commander is a glowing weak spot and linchpin who does it all. This is the trap of the modern commander. A card your deck is centered around. The linchpin of your strategy, able to provide everything your deck needs to function, card draw plus other resources, so your 99 doesn't really need to do much heavy lifting. It's also the obvious weak point of your list. Your strategy revolves around this. Your deck needs the card draw from your commander to keep up with the table, and without it, your deck struggles. The resources your commander provided are gone, and you need to relearn how to actually get those from your deck. The trap of Modern Commander is that this builds bad gameplay and deck building habits. When players build decks, they often build them with the idea that their commander will be in play, and will be doing whatever that commander is supposed to do. This informs how they construct the rest of the deck. This card does so much when my commander is in play, so I will add it to my list. My commander will draw me into this card, so I can use it consistently. But these deck building habits lead to players making weak decks carried by a commander. And in turn, these bad deck building habits lead to bad games of commander. In many videos, I have talked about the Feast or Famine deck. This is typically associated with all-in combo lists or Voltron, but any synergy-based deck that needs a linchpin commander to hold it together is the same. A deck that feasts when the commander is in play and starves when it's gone. You might say, well, what if people just don't remove my commander? The problem is you often can't ignore the other player's commander. If I ignore your Urza or Vivi, I'm probably going to lose. This is easily the most powerful card in your deck, and 1 or 2 turn cycles of value from it means I'm gonna fall way behind. Many games will end up with a player playing their bomb commander, and then if they don't get interacted with, the game just ends with them winning. So there isn't really an opportunity for me to not use removal on your commander, because if I don't, I lose. This is how these commanders lead to bad games. If your deck is designed to use the commander to pop off and win every single game, when you lose, it feels abysmal because you didn't do anything. A fun commander game is not one where a person crushes the table because their overpowered commander didn't get destroyed. A fun commander game is not one which your do-it-all mega value commander gets removed and then your deck folds. Neither of those situations are particularly interesting. Good commander games are similar to how they were back in yesteryear, when everyone could do a thing to show off some synergy, but their decks were not so strong that it ended the game. Everyone always got to do their thing. I think this is part of why Commander got so popular in the first place, where this idea of everyone showing off and doing their deck's unique thing even came from. Because pre-Commander power creep, that was possible to do. So does this mean I think your commander should be terrible and weak? Something that doesn't centralize your deck? Or maybe does this mean I think you should have no synergy with your commander? Play a generic value piece, so if it's gone, your deck doesn't miss out on any synergy. These are probably the most decentralized commanders you could have. Something that is legitimately not very powerful, so it's not meaningful to your strategy, or a pure card draw commander that just doesn't do anything else. There are benefits to this. You are now more easily able to make your command zone tailored to boosting up one aspect of your deck, whether it's ramp, removal, or card draw, without relying on synergy in the 99. And since a decentralized commander is not a key piece of your game plan, it would rarely get targeted by removal. I love building decks like this. My Keranos has literally never been countered or removed. My Tamiyo has never eaten spot removal. So many commanders I play will almost never get removed outside of a board wipe. Because although they provide value, it's never the scariest thing on the table. It's never the most important card in my deck. It's the most consistent part of my list. And because of that, I can build my deck with the idea that my commander will be in play. Because my commander is in play. It's not eating up removal all the time. I could talk more and more about the virtues of having a decentralized, weaker commander, but I feel it might fall on deaf ears, because players as a whole don't enjoy commanders like that. Look at the most popular commanders on EDH Rec. Almost all of them are either commanders which provide a ton of value all the time, making them a linchpin in your deck, or they are, if I untap with this, I win type cards. There are a few exceptions, I'll get to that later in the video. Sit tight if you are about to type about Ishin or Atraxa. At the end of the day, those commanders that make your deck run smoothly or that instantly win are popular. Wizards keeps printing them because people keep buying them. People like playing with commanders that are very synergistic and powerful. Players seem to be drawn to power overall. But like moths to a flame, I think this isn't good for you, especially if you're a new player. I think it's overall bad for the game. Not only do powerful over centralizing commanders lead to bad habits and games, I think it leads to players feeling that they need their commander and their commander is sacred. It breeds the type of player who wants to do their thing but doesn't want anyone to stop them from doing the thing. I mean, has this ever happened to you? You swords somebody's incredibly powerful commander only for them to cry out that you've ruined the game for them and the game's totally over, their deck can't do anything, blah blah blah. Of course, not everyone is like this, but I think this type of player can be cultivated in the environment of over reliance on a commander. Powerful commanders are just such a trap for new players. So, to combat this, we need to think outside the box. I can't just suggest to you a terrible commander or a generic one and say, the joys of building around a garbage card, because that's a really specific thing. So, what does it mean to have a commander which actually synergizes with the deck, is powerful, does powerful things, yet does not warp how you build a list? Now, the obvious answer you might have been screaming at your PC was just build a good deck. You can break these bad habits and simply put card draw and removal and finishers in your 99. This does lead to another issue though. If you play a high power commander that is already really close to winning as soon as you untap with it, then when you pump up the power of the 99 to match that, doesn't that make an incredibly powerful deck? The answer is yes. And if you want to play like bracket 4 or maybe the peak of bracket 3, I get that. That's totally fine and you should do that. But for more casual games, if you're looking to play a slower paced match, obviously juicing up the power of your 99 with an already incredibly high power commander isn't going to produce a low power casual game. So here are a few types of commanders you can play which fulfill the role of being a powerful, important part of your deck, but they do not over centralize your list. One example would be counterweight commanders. These are cards that patch up a weakness in your list, rather than provide direct synergy. Atraxa is actually an excellent example of this. Proliferate decks are pretty slow. They need time to slowly build up those counters and hit the critical mass to do whatever it is they want to do. Atraxa not only proliferates, but stalls the board out really well because of those keywords. So she speeds up the proliferation, but is also a powerful blocker that gains you life so you don't get crushed by a more aggressive deck. My Flage list is similar. This is a slow Boros control deck meant to grind out value over the course of a long game. Flage is a large body, so it can actually block pretty well. It also gains me life, and late game, in tandem with haste enablers or double strike enabling lands, it is a powerful finisher. This is my counterweight to the rest of the slow control deck. You can also play an amplifier. This is a commander that powers up your theme. Ishin is the other exception to the linchpin rule from earlier, which falls into this category. This commander can be slotted into any deck that uses attack triggers to make those do more. It amplifies the strategy, but nothing else. My Mina and Den list also does this. This is a lands ramp focused deck. The commander amplifies the power of those cards by giving me more land drops. A commander can also be a payoff, where it acts as a finisher or reward for doing something, like how Jetmir buffs your team as a reward for going wide. These sometimes have the downside of telegraphing your win a little too much if the payoff is something like Jetmir, which kind of wins the game when you have a big board state. So perhaps avoid those and lean more towards commanders like Elenda, Saint of Dusk, which is a payoff for having gained life, but isn't an auto win, which might be more appropriate for lower power games. Lastly, you can have your commander fulfill a extremely specific role in the deck. This is a fairly niche type of commander deck building, and it's not super common. The first example that comes to mind is if you play Kellen the Fey-Blooded with the intent of searching up a hidden commander like Sunforger. The commander has some value and utility throughout the game, but mostly does the one thing, and that's all. It's important to the deck strategy, but not central to the list. Snail's Rada deck also fits the description. This lets him ramp on turn 2 every game, skip the 3 mana slot altogether, and move right onto 4, which is why his curve looks like this. This commander does the one thing, and that lets the rest of the deck get going. Commander players kinda suck. They constantly build around their commanders that bait them into thinking their deck is going to pop off and go crazy every game. But this phenomenon has a lot to do with the way Commander is designed now. The 99 of our deck these days is not where people place value. Nearly all the most popular commanders are either Feast or Famine decks or Do It All commanders. The commander is showing players what to put in their deck. This is why you don't really see that many lists which are a silly theme and then have a commander tangentially related to that. The environment commander decks are in has changed, and some commander players need to change how they build commander decks. The commander format has changed a lot. It used to be all about the commander, and because those commanders were just random cool legends, everybody could play their commander, do their thing, and everyone would get a shot at winning. But this is no longer the case. Wizards saw the linchpin style deck building people enjoyed and provided players with a lot of over centralizing commanders. Wizards has pushed and pushed the power creep and speed of legendary creatures more and more. For casual, slow commander, it has become untenable to just play your overpowered commander and expect players to not interact with it. These faster, stronger card designs in the command zone make it so you can't do your thing if your opponent does their thing, because whomever does the thing first wins, leading to a lot of games where someone either runs away with it or loses in a spectacular way by having their commander removed 5 times and doing nothing. This is where I would recommend a decentralized commander, one that is a key piece of the deck, but the 99 can hold up on its own merits. Whenever I meet a new player who wants to build a commander deck for the first time, one piece of advice I give is to avoid all the commanders on EDH Rec's top 100. Not to be a hipster, not to be quirky, but to have more fun games. I've met so many players that try to get into EDH, build something like Kalia, and then have zero fun because they assumed every game was going to be them casting their commander and cheating in huge things. But instead, every game is their commander gets countered, removed, board wiped. And they have very little fun. Players are tying their thing to the commander popping off, and that does not lead to good, fun games. I find new players who pick up a slower, weaker commander that does one thing tend to build a more balanced deck, a list that holds up better on its own, and they have a lot more fun overall. Commander has changed. Just like how YouTubers had to reformat and restructure how videos are presented, I think players need to reformat and restructure how they design commander decks. Because of power creep, the age of everyone doing their thing is gone. To have fun, you need flexibility and resilience. Of course, there's nothing wrong with playing a deck that has one of these centralizing commanders. I don't think that you will always have a bad time or can't build a good deck with one of these. I just think that those commanders lend themselves to bad games and deck building, especially for new players. If you're an experienced deck builder and you know the risks of an all or nothing commander, more power to you. But if you're watching this and you've struggled to make a deck feel satisfying, try a worse commander. I think you will find it's a lot more rewarding to play. Hi Ho Silver asks, if you were a Pokemon trainer, what Pokemon type or strategy would you utilize? Would you have a Meltan because it's cute? No, I'm not a huge Meltan fan. I would definitely have a Swampert. That's like my favorite Pokemon. Love the whole Mudkip line. Big Gen 3 kind of guy. I think I've always been drawn to water types, so if I had to pick one singular type, it would probably be that. Maybe I'll do a Pokemon tier list on stream or something. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see that. Special thanks to my 2-3 patrons who are in the credits here. If you want to join the Patreon and ask questions like Hi Ho Silver did, all you gotta do is click the link below. Thanks for watching.